Hi everyone, welcome to the Frappe Developer Training Session 9. In this session, we will cover test-driven development and debugging on the Frappe platform. As you've seen in the previous apps, we are building a meeting management application that help the users to manage meetings, send emails, track status, etc. So what we are going to do next is we are going to uh, add a to-do for each meeting. So when you take minutes, you can track. You can set a user who's responsible for completing their action, and since we already have a to-do system in the Frappe framework, we should connect it to a to-do. So what we are planning to do is we'll connect a meeting every time you assign, we'll create an assignment in Frappe. For that, we'll have to track the assignment ID in the minute. So we just created a hidden field for to-do ID, and now let's create a method that will create a to-do for each minute that has been assigned. So what we can do is we can sync. We can write a function to sync to do. So if any minute has changed, then it should also delete the to do, the related to dos. So let's quickly write this sync to do method. In this method, here we will loop over all the minutes, and if the minute has an assigned to value set, then we will create a new to do. Again, we'll use the frappe.getTalk method to keep track of the to-dos. Maybe we also can keep track of all the to-dos that have been already added, uh, so that in case we need to delete. So we can set that if assigned to and a to-do, if it has an assigned to property and it has a to-do which is not in the current list. Well, that really does not matter, so maybe we'll just remove that thing. And so basically, if the minute has an assigned to, then we'll use the frappe.getTalk method to create a new to-do. So yeah, so it has an assigned to and to-do that is not created. So to check what properties that the doc type for to-do has, we'll just go to the Frappe documentation on GitHub, and we'll search for to-do, and then we can see. So basically, it has a description, it has a status, and a priority that we can set. So you can set the description as the description of the minute. And then we can set the reference type and reference name to the current minute. Uh, so when the user opens a to-do, they can automatically go to the meeting that for which they have the task assigned. Then again, we'll use the frappe.insert method to insert this to-do in the database. And then we also can set the to-do, the name of the to-do in the to-do property. So to test this, we'll write a test case. So welcome to the first thought bubble of this session. Here we'll just give a brief overview of how testing works in Frappe. So Frappe has a built-in testing framework that you will see in this session, and we strongly recommend writing automated tests if you are going to maintain your product over any period of time. Automated tests are usually written in places where you have business logic, where you have certain things that happen in the background, and it's really important to test those. Let's get back to the session. To write a test case, if you see in your meeting folder, there is already a test underscore meeting file created, and you can use this to quickly write test cases for the, the functionality that you are writing. So in a test case, what you typically do is you try and replicate some of the features that you would replicate some of the actions that you would do as a user. So in this, again, we can go to the developer docs, and we can see the meeting doc type, and we can see what properties there are. So let's just create a meeting in the test case. So we quickly create a meeting with a title. As a, uh, as a convention, we usually use the title as test meeting, or if it's a if it's a customer, then it's a test customer. Let's just fill out some of the mandatory fields there. Then let's add a few minutes. And then we can assign this meeting to test.example.com. So in the test cases, there are a few some of the fixtures like users are already created, and the testing mechanism in Frappe automatically searches for any dependency. So if a meeting depends on user, if it's linked to a user, then it will create the standard users that you can use in your test cases. So now we can use the Frappe.getAll function to get all the to-dos that have been linked to this particular meeting. And then what we can check, since there should be only one to-do, then we should check that the name of the to-do and the description should be what is there in the minute. Because for each minute that has an assigned, there will be a different to-do. So now let us just go and run the test case. So again, you can use bench site, then site name, and then run tests. And if you just do run test, then it will run all the tests in all the doc types. So if you just want to do one doc type, you give -- doc type and meeting. You can run per app. So if you just so it is running per app, so you can say app meeting. So it will run all the test cases in the app meeting. So what we are finding here is that it's not able to find a user. So apparently we haven't yet set the doc type, right, in the get doc function. So we just set get doc type. We just set doc type equal to meeting, and then we run the function again. We run the command again. And this has error because it's saying that there is no list index. It's either there is no to do or there is no meeting minutes. So since we already created the meeting minutes, probably the to do has not been created. So now let's debug this. So to debug this, let's first we can add, but what we realized here, we wrote the function test sync to dos, but we haven't called this from anywhere. So maybe we can call this function from after the file has been executed, because you need the refer the current meeting. But again, it gives the same error. And what we probably realize here is that now let's debug this further, because it's still not able to get that to do. So let's just print the to do if you can. So the to do list is empty. So the to do has not been created for this particular minute. So now let's see whether if any of the if conditions is being failed, or if the assign to is not set. So again, we can just print these, and you will be able to see them in your console when you run again. Again, we see that there is no problem here. It goes through all the functions, but it is still not able to identify the to do. So let us just reorganize. Probably what we realize is we are not able to set the to do because you cannot to set the property to do name in the meeting. We need the to do also to be saved. So we are running into a unique case where we have a referencing issue here. Should we save the minute first, or should we? It's a chicken and an egg problem. Should we save the minute first, or should we save the to do first? Because both need to be cross-referenced to each other for better usability. So what we need to do is instead of doing this, let's just sync the to-dos after the minute has been updated, and then to update the to-do ID in the minute, we'll use the db set method instead of just setting the property, because this will be called after the minute has been saved. So any property we set here becomes meaningless. So we directly save it in the database. And here we can set, now let's just run this. And what we'll do, and and again it says that there is the to-do has still not been created. So let's debug further. What could be wrong here? Um, so let's just quickly see in the UI. But here we see that the to-do has actually been created, and we are and it is also setting the correct the reference of the meeting correct. But somehow our tests are not able to catch this. So let's go back to the test to see what's going on. Um, okay, we didn't set the owner because we said we need the we did not set the owner property, right? So that was probably the error. So now we did make some progress. We still so here the problem is that the name is test minute one. Okay, and um, so now the to do has been created, but um, okay, we are not able to match the description because we did not. So if you just run frappe.getAll without specifying the fields, it will only return you the name field. So let's also do the capture the right fields, and then let's hope this works now. Yes, so we have been able to pass our first test case for this. Let's just remove all the print functions that we wrote, and let's now write the functionality for the delete method. That if you close the to do, then the minute should automatically be set to close, or if you delete a minute and if there is any to do associated with that minute, then that has to be deleted. Uh, so for this, so we're saying that if there is a to do assigned to an open minute, then if there is no to do assigned, then we add a to do. And then we remove it from the to do added list, so that any to-dos that were there in the that were referenced to the meeting and we did not find in the minutes were probably from deleted meetings. So again, to list all the to-dos, we'll use the frappe.getAll method that will return us the name of all the to-dos um, for this particular meeting. We don't need anything but the name, so let's just track this. And we also said assign by to be none, because if this to do has been added using the assign to functionality in the UI, then we should not delete it. So now we'll create a list of all the to do names, and this is the list of all the to dos that already have been added in the database for this function. Now let us quickly refactor the the function to make a meeting so that we can reuse it for another test. So we write a separate um, separate test for each separate functionality. So here what we'll do is yeah, we'll set a status of a particular minute to closed, and then the to do for that particular meeting should be deleted because that status has been closed from the minute. Now let's just go and run this. We run this again, and now we have an error. So we have again the referencing issue where the chicken and the egg, that we are modifying one document using the other. So what probably we need to do is in this db set method that we use, we'll have to pass update modifier is equal to false. So to track conflicts in doc types, the modified timestamp is used, and since we use db set, and if we set update modified false, then it will not use the same time, then it will not automatically update the timestamp. So we use it for the add, but we'll also have to add it for remove. Yeah, so for again, we haven't even, we actually didn't write the else case where if the minute is not open, then if there is any to do related to it, then it should be clear. And then the, yes, so we were able to pass our test case. So, so now you can, so when you assign a minute to somebody, a to do is added, and then similarly, when you set a minute to close, a to do is automatically removed. Now we'll have to add a functionality in the to-do that if the user closes the to-do, then the status of the minute has to be set to close. So if I have a to-do item in my list and then I close it from my to-do list or delete it, then I should be able to set the minute as closed. So again, just checking it from the UI, that works fine. Yeah, there seems to be no problem. So let's start by creating a hook in the to-do method for so we can again write a method in the API file, api.py file, that, and then we'll call this method on two events, either whenever a to-do is updated or a to-do is trashed. So we'll set minute to closed if the to-do is deleted or updated. Yeah, so this will be called for all kinds of to-dos, and we are only interested to run this function if the type of the reference document is meeting. So if it's not about a meeting, then we don't care. And another thing we'll also automatically set is that, yeah, so we'll have to call this method for um, so we again, since this is a self-referencing kind of a problem that we are trying to solve, where we are having double references or a doubly linked list, if you want to call it that, then we it could lead to a recursion that when you close a method in when you close a minute, then it will delete the to do, and the deletion of the to do will try and close the minute, and this can go on and on. So what we do is we can arbitrarily set flags in the document. So what we have done is we have set a flag in self.flags from close. So if it's from close, then it won't call it again. So now let us write a test function to when we close a to do, then it should close the minute. So let's just make the minute, get the to dos, and then get the document of the to do, and then set the status close and save it. And then get the to dos again, or reload the minute, and then we just check whether the status of the minute is set to close. And then the to-do has also been removed. Great, so this worked the first time. We are able to automatically close a minute when we close the to-do. Now let's also write a test case that when the to-do is deleted, you should still be able to do the same thing. The minute has been closed. So this test case is very similar to the earlier test case. So maybe we can just copy the test case, and then instead of close, we'll just delete the to-do. And let's run it again. Yeah, so all our tests passed. So now our minute system is synced with the to-do system in Frappe. And this is the end of the session. Hope you liked it. In the next and the final session, we will cover how to create a web view for the meeting. So we'll create a website where all the past and upcoming meetings will be listed. So see you in the next session.